Für Ihre Information. Die heutige Konferenz wird aufgezeichnet.
So, now you see some picture as well. So, Peter...
Joining conference.
Hello? Are you? Peter, how are things going with your Singapore implementation?
The Singapore implementation is more or less done. They are waiting to switch from 4.6 HTML to XSteps. I'm guessing it will be in 2.10 because right now we are waiting to get an 6.0 ECC6 implemented to... I'm waiting for it to do some tests.
Great. One question. Do you also use the PRPCS interface?
No.
Not at all.
Joining conference.
Not that I knew.
Okay. Because there's something I prepared for today. Maybe.
Perhaps it's very interesting.
Yes.
The problem is in the whole Abbott company, some things are used, I do not know, but they are not used in Singapore.
Okay. I wonder, I see in the participant list Pat Rebel from Bristol Myers Gibbs, but I didn't hear anybody.
I'm here.
Oh, you're here. I didn't hear you. So nice to have you also in my cafe.
Thank you.
So how did you know from it?
I just started working here again at Bristol Myers, and my boss told me about it.
Oh, great. So how much do you use the PI sheet at Bristol Myers Gibbs?
It's only used at a few plants, but there's other plants who are interested in XSteps instead of a PI sheet.
Okay, and reason is ease of use, or what are the...
Well, unfortunately, a lot of the plants went live back in the late 90s, and they went live on discrete orders, and they don't want to switch over to PPPI.
Oh, yeah.
So
and now they have heard that this is also possible with the discrete orders, with the XSteps.
Yes.
That's good news, because we are still a little bit waiting for the first customers who are really actually going onto that new functionality. That's great.
Well, we're looking at it. It hasn't been approved yet.
Okay.
It has to pass the FDA smell test, if you will.
Okay.
But it's being investigated.
Yeah. So, but that means. But there is the EBR is not important for those plans, because that's a more PPPI functionality.
Well, these plants that are looking at it are going to be using a MES and have the EBR in the MES.
All right. Okay, I see. So and so they would use the XStep work instructions for only a part of the instructions, or?
Yes.
Okay. Right.
Yes.
So how many people users are working with PI sheets in your company right now, approximately?
I'd say maybe 50.
50? Okay.
Yes.
Good.
It's only like 2 plants at the moment. There's another plant that's going to be using them, but it's not that big of a plant in terms of number of employees.
Okay. Yeah. Good. So yeah. There's one big customer of ours who has 13,000 users in the PI sheet, which is a lot. So that's,
well, I had been working at Merck, and Merck is using the PI sheet big time.
Yeah. How many users do they have there? Do you know that?
Well, they just started going live, so they have 2 markets live, and there's probably about 500 users.
Whoa. Okay.
That's an estimate.
Okay. Great. Okay, Pat, there's some polling here, and you might already have seen it. So if if you don't mind, please select some of the checkboxes you see here on the screen, especially for those who are new here. In the first 6 sessions I really prepared a certain topic, and then I did some demos and we discussed about it. And now I'm switched to the mode of having it open, and every time we start, I just ask with these topics there on the lower right side, what is the topics that you're most interested in. You see the numbers there in brackets, so everywhere where there's a number, you will have a recorded session already, which has this topic as a sort of major topic. So I would advise you to look at that first, or if you have done that and have additional questions, then of course I'm happy to answer those. Right. So let's get started. Maybe before we go to discussing what we'll do today, I have an offer to do. Is there are customers also here using the PI-PCS interface in PPCI, and so far there has been some issues with XSteps using that technology, and we have finally solved one of these issues, and I'd like to just show that to you, and I've already also started building a small library of standard XSteps that we will distribute, I hope, in the future via SDN. But I'll also have it here for you to download in this session later on. So I'd like to show that to you if you're interested. If nobody is interested at all, then we'll just skip that. So what do you think?
Yes, definitely.
Yes?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, great. So, and I see also some, not many of you have voted for topics today, so but the discrete manufacturing XSteps is leading here, so I will ask what are the specific questions later, and then we'll go on that. Okay. So maybe first a small recap on how the PI-PCS interface is used with the normal process instructions, and I switch over to my presentation screen here and share my computer screen to you. Okay, you should see now an R3 ERP screen. Do you see that?
Yes.
Okay, great. So first thing I would show as a recap is the transaction where you can set up your external destinations, and just an example here, and there you can add these instruction categories. Some of those are repeated for every phase, which is that one here, the start of a phase. And some are also have a more specific generation scope, which is one of those. Yeah, and you can of course rebuild this also with XSteps. And these are these instruction categories, and I'll switch quickly onto the other transaction where you see those. Have several different types. And I must admit, I've never had, as a consultant, I've never had a project where I actually saw these running, but I can imagine quite well what they are doing. So there are different process instruction types for these external systems, and the most important ones are the first 3 here. So the first one is just providing process parameters. The second one is giving the opportunity for the external system to give data back. So that's a request for flexible data requests, and that's the process message subscription, which is a little bit the same, but it works a little bit different, I think. So, and just an example here, that's a material assignment, so sort of a material list, and it has just these these characteristics, and you see here the flag under the column A means that this is automatically evaluated when you create a control recipe. And of course, all this we need to rebuild in XSteps, but the nice thing is we only have to do it once, and then we can reuse those every time. And I will show you how. There's another thing. Let's pick one of those maybe. So maybe use consumption message here. So there's a message category given here, and certain characteristics which are expected in that process message. So it's a fairly simple way of communicating with an external system. All right. So, and what did I do? Let's switch to the next mode, to the standard XStep repository. And Pat, if you have any questions, you can ask them also if around XSteps, how if you don't understand something right now. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, and I've got here a special folder created here, and you see I have named the standard XSteps similar to those process instruction categories, and also named put a number here for the different types. So these are the parameter provisioning, and these are the process message subscription, and this is the parameter request here. And let's just go in one of those and show you how it's set up. Yeah, this also has some generation scopes here. So maybe first just go into that one here. So that's also. But anyway, so here differently to the electronic work instruction, you don't specify a PI sheet electronic work instruction, but external system. And what is happening, you won't see any special elements you can select here when editing these process instructions. So you have to do it sort of the hard way and create the characteristics your own. And I've done that like this. I've just copied those characteristics from those existing process instruction categories. And what you see here is the method of replacing in a certain field the value with a parameter. And these parameters, I will go to them in a minute, are the ones here in between the ampersand signs. And the thing we have fixed a couple of weeks ago is that before there was a checking mechanism that checked whether what you entered here is, complies with the characteristic here. And that was, of course, a bad situation, because you could not do this thing here, because there is no unit of measure which is called like this. And of course, this characteristic here, material quantity, would expect a number here, and this is definitely not a number. And so we fixed this, and now we can do this here. Yeah. And what is happening here is I'm just doing this mapping between parameters and these characteristics. And in the XStep above here, I'm just preparing these parameters, and all A underscore means it's automatically evaluated with the correct characteristics, of course. And here in the evaluation, you see that I've used all these valuation symbols that I've already explained in previous sessions, and there are many more compared to the process instructions anyway. So that's the principle, and of course there are also some examples where you would need to. Let's see what I have here. I think it is that one here, where you can also use these manual parameters. So that's the one where you have characteristics. Some are characteristics. In this case, only one is just the phase, and this is automatically evaluated here. And you see this by this parameter A underscore. and all the others are manually provided, or have to be manually provided later in the recipe or in the order. And you can see here in the parameter list that only the first parameter here with A, the phase, is a local parameter, and all the others are input parameters. And I will show you this to you in the order, how this will look like. And of course, all the others are none. Should be none here. Just change this. I forgot about this. Oh, good that I checked this. So this should have the valuation symbol for the phase and be evaluated automatically. So any questions on that so far? No? Okay. So it seems pretty straightforward. Let's have a look into in order. I don't have a recipe right now. I just put it into an order. I think it's that one here. Yeah, and you see here, by the way, I switch back to the repository quickly. What I also did is I gathered some of these in sort of logical elements. For example, all these process message subscriptions, like you all have badges maybe, so you would have subscribed to goods issues, to goods receipts with badge also, and change of phase status, and of course change of control recipe status. You always would have these, I think. So what I imagined is I can just gather them into this overall standard XStep. So you see it's possible to put one standard XStep into another. And also these here are maybe a good idea to group them together, to have the parameter for components and products and phase data also in a nice bundle. And that's what I did here in this process order. So first, of course, I have provided a concrete destination. And here I've got one XStep here, and that serves just as a folder. And I have these two assigned to them. And you see they are exploded here. And here I've got one XStep with a fixed phase assigned to it here, with these manual parameters element, and there I have provided all these parameters that I described before with some values. So I provide a mixed temperature here with a value of 70 and the range of values and a unit to that external system. Of course, I can use multiple of these in different phases and all these things. Okay, and yeah, I'm doing the generation, and you see that all these generation scopes are executed here. You see that for components, you see that there are two components here in that phase. Therefore, two are executed here, and I think in that phase are also two. So these are empty. These gray elements are just templates. They are not really active. And here you see also that all these materials, all these parameters are filled with meaningful values. Yeah, and now I will save this, and I will go to the monitor first. Here you see that's the new one, which I could send. I don't have an external system now really attached, so I cannot show you the other side. But what I can do is I can use this key here and go to a quick viewer that I've created, so that you can see what's in there. and here you are. So here are all the data you would expect also from the external system. So these are all the characteristics with all the values, and it works quite fine. Yeah. Maybe one thing I can also point out to you is again to the control recipe destination. So this is the way it normally works also with the normal process instructions, and this is also with this technique I showed you with this parameter exchanging method. This works like this. There's another method which you could use if you flag this, but and then you also don't have to provide these process instruction elements. So what does that mean? That means that, for example, in that one, you wouldn't need this element here. You only would need these parameters and with the values there, and these would be gathered also in the control recipe. But there will be also other elements with it. And they are so-called blocking elements or XStep related elements additionally. So if you already have a running PI-PCS interface with an external system that already has a sort of middleware parameterized for the well-known structure, it might be confused with the new elements. And also, if you do that, you won't have these. See here, I can provide this instruction category manually here, and also you see here that this instruction category stuff is filled. If you do the other way, this is just a dummy value, so you cannot trigger anything in the external system by this value. You would have to do it with other means. Yes, but you could see the structure. So because these XStep structures would show you also what is the lower element, what is the higher element with these GUID identifiers. But it's well, a little bit cumbersome. Okay, so that's what was what I wanted to show here. Any questions on this?
No.
No?
No. No.
Okay. Maybe, I don't know, if I'm putting this now in foreground, do you see now this file sharing part?
Yes.
You see it? So there's an entry, the last one, which is called PI-PCS examples SXS folder.xml. You can click on that and upload the file for you if you want, and but it's not documented. It's just the XML file that you can use for importing it into your XStep repository, and then you have to deal with it. But I hope we will get a documented version on SDN in some time. Okay. So having said this, yeah, let's put this. Did you upload something here? Anybody still in the process of doing that? Okay, and then I'll just hide this away again. And yeah, now what's up with the electronic work instructions? Maybe for those who have voted for that, maybe could you give us some ideas what you are interested in most? Or
about the style sheet or what?
Well, I have some have asked about the electronic work instructions, so the discrete XSteps. So I think at least two of you did vote for that. Any specific questions? Anything? Nothing? Okay. Switch over briefly to that here. that was the result here. Yeah, if there's no specific questions, maybe that the reason was because you didn't see the recorded session already. So if you don't have any specific questions, I need some hints where I can start, right? So then maybe I will ask Peter about his style sheet question.
I do not have a specific style sheet question. I was watching your the last XStepCafe, and I've seen lots of icons and specific things in the style sheet you presented. I've seen the XStepCafe regarding the style sheet, but of course it's a little too little for me to try playing some games with this style sheet. And this is more an overall question in the style sheet, which I don't know can be handled in the XStepCafe.
The problem with the style sheet is, and I had some feedback in after the session where I explicitly covered the style sheet stuff and technical stuff, that for some people this is really very technical. So,
okay.
But maybe since also two of you voted for electronic work instruction for discrete, maybe I just show this again, and
that's okay.
Then maybe some questions will arise. You see it again, my screen?
Yeah.
Yeah, great. So what I will do is I will create a new production order. It's I think it's that one here. Check whether this is the right. That looks good. No, it's not. Hold on, I need to find my example again. Maybe that one here.
Joining conference.
Yeah, that's the right one. Okay. Yeah, this is an example with 5 different operations and some materials. And in the XSteps here, you see that for every operation I've got split it up into one XStep with this context and with also different destinations, so that every worker and every workstation has its own electronic work instruction. And I'll just release that from here and create Control CP. Okay, so you see this is a production order, and you see the XSteps are working here for this production order as well. And we have created also several new transactions here with the XD that also cover from the wording the new terms. So this means monitor for control instructions. And
these instructions with the XT are available in general in
EHP. Let's see, EHP 3, I would say.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
the nice thing with these new transactions is also that you can that's no problem. That you can modify the way these elements are displayed or enhance it. Right? So that was not possible before. So all the CO60, the CS54, all you can modify with the body, I think. Send this now. Okay, it's internal test system, so you will see some compilings very often. And if we are unlucky, we will also see some screen dumps, but short dumps, but let's just hope. So, Pat, did you see the recordings?
Yeah, I've seen most of them. I haven't gotten to the last couple ones.
Okay, good. Which release are you on in Prisma Scripts?
ECC6.
Enhancement Tech?
I'm sorry.
Which enhancement tech, or only the basic version?
Well, we have the enhancement for the XSteps only in the one client right now, kind of our sandbox client.
Okay, so that's EHP.
They don't want to put it anywhere else until we know which way we're going.
Okay. Right. So, but if you've got any issues, please contact me if I can help there. I would be happy to do that.
Thank you.
Okay. Right. Okay, so here we have our brand new 5 electronic work instructions, and I'm selecting the first one. And you see it also has a different look and feel compared to the PI sheet. So we have applied a new style guide to this. Yeah, and that's it. And I have a little bit of problem with my little demos sometimes, because I'm using a lot of own coding, own style sheets, and of course everybody then asks, okay, how easy it is, or does it come with a standard? And I have to say, okay, well, no. So that's why I'm pointing out what is not standard here. Right? So you see here on top, you see some big text like this, and you see also this small applet. So this means I've got an HTML portion here, which I have built inside the routing. This comes from MRI, so this is an MRI applet which we are looking at here. Then these big buttons here are also not standard. I've enlarged them to give a more touchscreen look and feel. And this is an HTML text here with an iframe. So this is also not standard diagram here. It's also MRI what we are seeing here. Yeah.
How does the MII come into this? Because I'm going for a demo on Friday, so I'm kind of curious about that.
Yeah. I mean, there are several ways of integrating MRI with this technology, and what we are seeing here is just an iframe. So if you're a little bit familiar with HTML, you might know that there's an element tag, an HTML tag called iframe, and that allows you to have inside an HTML coding a portion, and this could also be a window to another website, right, like SAP.com or something, and then you would see just SAP.com website inside here, right? And I just have taken instead a link to an MRI content page, right?
Okay.
And the more a complication here is a little bit a complication is that you need also to provide to make it really smooth, to provide some parameters to that content, and in this case I've provided the order number and the operation number as well, so that this content page receives order and operation number and passes it on to the queries that are used to build up this picture here.
But MII is a separate package?
MII is a separate package.
Yeah.
So this is just a showcase which I presented on the ASA conference last year in fall to just show, okay, this is also possible. You can mix these two words together. And I have also, and that's a second case in the third operation here. I have an example how to also move data from data you capture here in this work instruction to MRI. So that's also possible. You will see that. So let's just do some. That was meaningless. I first need to run this setup. So this is an example I've set up to ease the use for a worker here, so that he only has to press the go and stop button here, and provide some yield information here like this, and then he can just execute the confirmation, and the process message is created here. So here down there you see that the table every time something is completed here, like these two first process messages has been created, and in this case there was also some meaningful stuff in, so some times and some days. And next time I'm just saying, okay, I'm starting machine and labor now, and I'm also again executing confirmation, and then you see that something is working here. So you see up here, you see some blue element here, so that's the bar, which indicates that 10% of our work has already been confirmed. And here you see also some, and now you see 20% here, and see here now that also some more is filled in. And by the way, this is HTML content page, and in that MRI content, I have also realized a Flex example, which uses the same queries.
So pressing the green start icon, you are calling a function module that's sending information to XMII?
No. Actually, this applet here is just polling or every now and then asking the situation of an order. Right? So I'm not directly putting some data into this diagram.
Okay, now I understood.
Just is a diagram. I could also run this totally alone, and just have a look at the situation of an order at a certain operation.
Okay, starting with the green icon, you are changing information in your process order, and MII is taking this information from the process order, and you are calling, and you're seeing it in the icon that this process order has a progress or has something changed.
Exactly. What I'm doing here with start and stop is I'm just manipulating this this time here. So this is just for my small function modules I'm using here a way of calculating the actual time to be confirmed. So if I'm stopping now here, so all is stopped, you see that actual these are the times in minutes that have been clocked in from the first time I said start, or from the last time I have pressed execute confirmation. So it's an easy way of just capturing the times. Yes. So this would be a break right now. So I'm running again, and I'm executing confirmation again, and you see how this is running here. Okay. Good. Let's stop this right now and go into
Arnie, your scroll buttons at the very bottom, repeated data request.
Yes.
Are those standard in?
No.
No. Okay. All right. Just figured I'd ask.
Who was speaking there?
That's Frank.
Frank, you're from?
From McNeil.
Oh, from McNeil. Hi, Frank. Yeah. So this was. There are several things that I've implemented here. So it's all style sheet, and I'm sorry. I wanted to complete some of my style sheet documentation, which I wanted to put on SDN, but it's not finished yet.
Okay.
I'm working on it. What I said last time also is, if you're interested in these functionalities, you can contact me. I can bring you in contact with our consultancy, and I can hand it over, and then you can make a small little project, and that's the way I would push it to you if you want.
Okay.
Because I cannot really deliver it well documented, so I have to do it that way. But just for your information, what I did here is I put these here in. And these, I made sure that these headings won't scroll anymore, right? And whenever a new field, a new table line is created, have you seen this? It scrolls automatically to the very end.
Okay, and then you can arrow all the way up.
Because in standard, you just have the table like this, and you select this button. Normally. Add a new line, and you don't see the line, and you have to scroll down to see it. Right?
Yep.
And that's also something. Okay. Let's go quickly to that one, and then you see. And that's the nice thing. Every workstation. So I'm now in the second one that's cutting, has the overall view on the whole order. So this guy knows. Okay, here the yield of the first operation is already 50%, so I would expect some material to work on right now. Right? So it's to provide more transparency for the workers. Okay. Do it very quick here. I have invented this nice diagram here, which shows relatively the activities versus the yield. So that you see that this blue line is the yield line. So of course, yield versus yield is 45 degrees line here, and all lines that are below this here are better than planned. And that's, of course, I'm just very fast right now, so it's all below this line. But if I would let this run very long, these would go over here. I'm not sure. Setup. Okay, setup is of course too long now. You see that it's 200% of the planned value. So that's there you see that the setup is way above the planned value, and that's a nice way of having a look. Compare it planned versus actual. What I wanted to show then is the next one. So this is always the same here, right? So there's nothing new here, but this is another way of communicating, for example, with MRI. So this is here I enter some value, pressure, some data like 12 bar per unit, and then I press send. And what I'm doing here is I'm calling a function module, and that function module is posting an HTTP request to MRI, and hopefully I haven't checked it before. There it is. You see that was my value, and that again is a content and an applet from MRI, and it just has by chance or by my purpose the exact colors we are using here. So this is not a normal table from the work instruction. And the other way around, I can also read data from MRI like this, so and state here. Right. So this is the same, very same, but this is a real table from the electronic work instruction. Yeah. So this is all the XSteps for discrete indices with very enhanced style sheet and some nice function modules I'm using here. But some of these function models are not very complicated. For example, this here, these are just setting a value to 1 or 0, I think, to just trigger something. Right? So that's quite easy here. This one is more complex, of course. Okay. Yeah, that was also something to provide some.
But there's no real difference if you want to use a similar thing in the process industries.
Yeah, of course. All would be the same. There's no real. Of course, the look and feel would be different. So the colors and such, but all the rest would be similar. Would be the same.
Because right now, in your example, our process order controlling department would be very interested, because they are interested in the relationship between yield, scrap, setup time.
Okay.
But the production itself, they really know today we did a longer setup, and they are not so much interested in the cost, they are more interested in the product quality. So, but I understand what can be done, and that's very interesting.
Something like this would that be?
Depending on which information it is for the production of the batch or of the finished product.
I had also discussion with another customer, and they were saying one thing they could imagine very well is to have these how they're called Laufschrift. That's something where moving text is running.
Text.
How is it called in English? Help me. Scrolling text. Yes. So what you could also do is to have that you can even do without any style sheet enhancement. You can just add a frame here, for example, below here or up here, where you point to another web page, and that web page could just as easily be an MRI page with the message of the day for the current department, for example, right? So any important information that you can maintain in your MRI system. Yeah. Any more questions? Shall I show you the details of these XSteps in the repository, for example, or in the order? Anything?
In the order.
In the order? Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
Please.
First of all, you see that there's some status change here has been done, and that was because of these process messages. And here, that's the XStep area. And this is, you see, this is only one standard XStep step I have used for the whole thing, right? And I don't know whether I've got any parameters. Yeah, so that's just that's the text, the big text that is displayed above in the header, and this is some H that I'm using there. So I can use these parameters in HTML wherever I want. It's really quite open. And then I've got these 3 instructions. First one is the text which has see that's the iframe element here, which switch over back, which shows this one here. So this diagram here. That's some CSS manipulation. I have mentioned that in one of my sessions, which is quite an easy way without any modification to modify fonts or colors. That's something for my style sheet enhancement here. This is the activity table. So that's these this one here, first table here, and that's, you see, there's more. That's the confirmation tables with some commands. And by the way, maybe you don't know this already. We have made a correction that you see more here. In the very early beginnings, you could only see command, and that was it. And you had to double click and have to look into the details. And now you see really more information here, also for the function module. You see the module name here, which is used, and also the labeling and by what means it is executed, for example. That's quite nice here. Okay, yeah. Pat, any more information you'd like to have? Some more details?
Not so much. I have a question though.
Great.
In using the PI sheets, especially with the material movements, in my former life, we used a lot of validation function modules.
Yes.
And so far what I've seen is simple function modules, and it just could be, based upon keeping it simple. Mm-hmm. Can you have like a complicated validation function module with XSteps?
Yeah, sure.
Where you're validating batch, material.
Basically, XSteps uses really the same functionalities as the former process instructions. There's only one thing which we still have on our agenda. That's the predecessor, successor stuff that is not really working explicitly here. For example, let's go to that one here, where I've got this parameter stuff here. I've got these entry fields, and so that was a parameter here, and you see input validation. And you can have formula, and you can have function modules, and there you can use your function modules also. So no difference.
So it's the same function module we would have used in PPPI?
Sure.
Okay.
I mean, well, actually, where did you use these function modules again?
I was working at Merck before.
Yes.
And they're doing all PI sheets.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just kind of trying to translate the work I did at Merck and versus what we're trying to do here.
Yeah. So if you have some function modules that you have used at Merck for PI sheets, you can use those here as well. Yes.
Okay.
And you might know that these validation function modules need a certain interface structure so that these work fine. But that's standard.
Okay.
It's also documented. Any other questions?
I don't have a question on this particular XStep, but do you have any information in terms of how the POC tables are laid out and how to navigate them in case we wanted to do a function module to interrogate them?
No, actually that's very internal. I mean, I don't say it's secret, but I don't have the knowledge really. I know that the POCDB value, for example, is a quite central table where all the values are in, and that table is also gaining a lot of size usually. So and that's also something about performance. I've got a request for next XStepCafe where somebody asked me to discuss performance a little bit, but that's not an easy topic, and that goes also into all these POCDB tables. If they grow too fast or too big, then you have performance problems. But apart from that, I mean, our developers, okay, they know about what these mean, but I don't have any manual for that, and it's also not meant to really share it with everybody, really.
Yeah, I was just looking to see if you knew where I might be able to grab some documentation on the web or anything like that.
There's nothing. I mean, yeah.
It's indirectly indexed, so I was just looking for help. But thanks.
Okay. I want to point out that on this screen here on your SP Connect, there's on the left bottom side some a rating possibility for you to do. So maybe if you don't mind, you can select the rating for today's session. Also, always a nice indicator for me whether I have done a nice job or not. And yeah, any more questions?
How about the during training for when XSteps first came out? They talked about doing a system where you would have a smaller SAP instance at each plant that could then talk to the central SAP instance, and you would be able to send process messages and control recipes back and forth. Did that ever come to fruition?
To what?
Did that ever come into being?
Well, yes, it is a standard functionality already, but it works not with XSteps, I believe. So it's only with the normal process instructions, and you can. If I'm just going to the customizing it, there you see that. Process management, and there you've got decentralized process management. Just look at that and
yes.
Watch the documentation. It's basically, it works like this. You create your normal process instructions, but you don't send it to a type 4 destination, but to a type 2 destination.
Mm-hmm.
And that type 2 destination is actually another ERP system, which is maybe with a smaller footprint, and then takes that, and on that system, of course, you might have less information. So, for example, for material, if you want to have material F4 help, also you need to set up some RFC connection, again back to the central ERP. But there are some documentation here with it. It's not very widely used, I think, but yeah, it's standard functionality.
Okay. And some people have implemented it successfully already?
Yeah, there's. I mean, I know of one customer, and that was functionality where we built it for, right? So I don't know whether there's another customer already.
That's Purdue, right?
Pardon?
Purdue?
No.
Oh, someone else. Okay.
Yeah. So that's about it. Any more questions? Maybe if you didn't have the possibility, you can grab these PIPCS examples I've showed you right now, or go to the recording. Then you can go to the same area and grab it from there. Should work. Okay, if there's no other questions, we have finished our time, I think, as well. Then I would say thank you for attending, and have a nice day, evening, whatever.
Thank you for the presentation or for the XStep.
You're most welcome. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. And Pat, good you were here, and hope to see you soon again.
Thanks.
Bye.
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 Bye-bye.